If you're a multifamily real estate investor who's looking to raise more than $1 million with a predictable and proven system so that you can take down big commercial deals that are 30 units or more, over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you how to build a massive investor network and raise millions of dollars in capital without wasting months going to networking events, meetups, and talking to people who will never invest. Now, if you're not there yet, if you are doing single family flips or maybe playing around with small multifamily, this is not for you. Okay? So the first thing that I want to do is share with you the Millionaire Network Automation formula, which is composed of three foundational components which you need in place to be able to raise as much capital as you want for as long as you want. But if you're missing any of these three, that might be the reason why you're struggling. So right now, you can have the opportunity to find out. The first one is identifying who your ideal investors are. The way that we think about this is think about who is your perfect ideal investor who resonates with you, your deals, and will invest the easiest and the fastest, right? So a lot of capital raisers out there are looking to raise capital from people, but they don't even know who they're looking to raise capital from. And even worse, they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, thinking that they're raising capital from anyone and everyone with a pulse. And that's why they end up raising capital from no one, right? You can't have a predictable and proven system when you don't even know who you're looking to raise capital from. So some of the things that you can take into consideration when you're identifying who your ideal investor is your investment standard. What's going to be the minimum amount of money that you allow your investors to come into your deals with? Once you are clear about that, then you can decide whether you're going to go after non-accredited, accredited investors, high net worth individuals, institutional investors, any specific industry. And what we want here is to build strong foundations that allow you to build on top of it, right? The second thing would be an automated networking system that allows you to find, connect, and convert you with your ideal investors. You need to be able to find and connect with your ideal investors on a consistent and predictable basis every single week without any of your effort or time. That way you can focus on what's important, which is, operating the deals or raising capital, being the face of the brand and all of that. So you need a system, a team, something that allows you to either automate it or delegate it, but you need to be able to find, connect, and convert with your ideal investors every single week. The third thing is the branding process. You're going to be asking people for money. So you want to be able to position yourself and your brand as experts and have credibility and authority. And these are the three components that you need to raise as much capital as you want. And if you've been struggling so far to raise capital, then right now you might start to know why, to realize why. And you have the opportunity to start working on fixing it. And I want to ask you, which of these three components are you missing right now? Okay, think about that. And let's go into the capital raising roadmap. So we believe that in order to raise millions of dollars in capital, you must have a massive investor network. And the best way to build a massive investor network is not going to networking events, meetups, and endless investor coffees or investor lunches and dinners, hosting your own events, spending time away from your family, traveling. It's not that. The best way to build a massive investor network and raise millions of dollars in capital is the new way of networking, or as I like to call it, digital networking. And the best digital networking tool out there right now is a podcast, right? So you're not going to become a podcaster. I'm not a podcaster. You're simply going to use a podcast as a digital networking and capital raising tool to build a massive investor network, position your expert brand, increase credibility, authority, investor exposure, and raise millions of dollars in capital. And this is how it works. The first step is we identify who your ideal investors are. We have a done for you service where we do everything for you. We find and connect you to the investors. So we put in the work to find your ideal investors. We reach out to them, call them, get them to apply, right, to fill out an application and get them to book with you on your podcast. Over the next 6 months, if you are able to connect with 2 to 4 of these investors per week by investing 2 to 4 hours of work per week, you can end up with a massive investor network of 50 to 100 of your ideal investors, allowing you to raise millions of dollars in capital. And you also end up with 50 to 100 podcast episodes that we optimize, multiply, and distribute for you. So optimize means we make everything look good. We create your expert branding, your intro, your outro. We make everything look awesome. We multiply it into a bunch of clips, reels, posts, stories, emails, thumbnails, and then we distribute all of that for you without you having to lift a finger. So all of your podcasting episodes would be on all podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube. All of your clips, reels, posts, and stories would be on all of your social media platforms. And we also build an email automation for you. And that's how we help you build an expert brand, increase credibility, authority, investor exposure, and get you to the finish line of building a massive investor network, positioning yourself as an expert, increasing credibility, authority, investor exposure, and raising millions of dollars in capital. So my next question to you is, would you like to get all of this implemented 100% done for you and have it automated, right? Because we find your ideal investors, right? We reach out to them, call them, text them, message them, get them to apply, to connect them to you. We help you build a massive investor network of your ideal investors. We do all the work behind enhancing your brand, positioning you as an expert, increasing your credibility, your authority, your investor exposure. We do all of it. If you're interested, if you're the type of real estate investor who doesn't have the time or the bandwidth to do this by themselves, and you would like to get a who, the right who to do this for you, then the next step would be scheduling a capital raising strategy session to go a lot more in depth into how everything would be implemented step by step, right? So before you are able to book, though, you need to answer some questions. And I have some important notes. We get a high volume of real estate investors who want to book and who want to learn more about our system. So if you want to be considered, make sure that you answer all questions as best as you can. There's going to be some application questions. Once you book, once you click the button below, you're going to go to a booking link where you will have some questions that you need to answer. Make sure that you answer them as best as you can, because that lets us know that you're serious. Right? We have a high volume of people who want to book with us, but a very limited time to book them on. So answer the questions as best as you can. The call will be on Microsoft Teams, so make sure that you have it downloaded on your computer, and make sure that you show up on time on your computer and in a proper environment. Right? That way we can give something as important as raising millions of dollars in capital the time and attention it deserves. And the other thing is, if any of these instructions are not followed, we might cancel the call. And the other thing I want to mention is, I'm going to show you everything, walk you step by step through how everything works. And at the end, you're going to have the opportunity to decide whether or not you would like us to help. So if there's any other decision maker involved in your decision making, such as your spouse or a partner or a business partner or something like that, make sure that you bring him to the call. That way we can all be on the same page, and you're able to make a decision of whether you would like us to help. So thank you very much, and I'll see you later on the call. Bye bye.